Hello, guys! Today we're diving into a recap of the romantic/sci-fi film In Your Eyes, released in 2014. The story opens by introducing us to two very different childhoods, two separate lives unfolding thousands of miles apart. On one side, we meet a young girl named Rebecca living in New Hampshire. A quiet girl, she's taken skiing on the snowy slopes by her mother along with a group of other kids. Meanwhile, over in New Mexico, we're introduced to Dylan and his not-so-bright group of friends as they attend school. We learn that Dylan is exceptionally intelligent, consistently scoring perfect grades while his friends are failing their tests. Even the teacher questions why they hang out together. Back on the ski slope, Rebecca gets on her high-end ski gear and begins skiing down the hill. It's in this moment that we witness the mysterious connection forming between her and Dylan, a connection that's invisible and unexplained. Neither of them understands why it's happening. At one point, as Rebecca skis down and is about to crash into a tree, Dylan, miles away, starts shaking violently in his seat. Then, at the very moment she collides with the tree, Dylan seems to hit an imaginary tree too, falls off his seat, and loses consciousness. At the same time, Rebecca also crashes and blacks out. Years later, we pick up with their adult lives. Dylan is now an ex-con living in a rundown camper off-grid and working at a local car wash. He arrives home in his truck, and we get a glimpse of how chaotic and dirty his living environment has become. His life is clearly a mess. As he enters his home, which he doesn't even bother to lock, he finds his parole officer waiting inside. It's revealed that Dylan was previously arrested for burglary. He used to pick locks for his criminal friends, Beau Soms and Beau's brother. When he was caught, he took the blame and didn't rat them out. He was released on parole due to good behavior, and now the officer is here to check up on him. Even after high school, it's clear Dylan remained a bright guy. Back in New Hampshire, we see Rebecca as an adult preparing for a party, a charity event that her husband, Philip, a doctor, has been invited to. While she's getting ready, Philip arrives home from work. Right away, we see how controlling he is, even down to what Rebecca wears, and we'll soon understand why he behaves this way. That same night, Dylan is at a local bar playing pool with a friend who becomes increasingly demanding, causing Dylan to walk away. Beau and his brother show up, help smooth things over by knocking a peg off the pool table and buy Dylan a beer. They also try to rope him in to another burglary job. Even the bartender warns Dylan to steer clear of them. Meanwhile, at the party, Rebecca and her wealthy husband arrive. The event is dull and lifeless. Men in suits sit around sipping drinks and making small talk, while the women huddle in a corner gossiping about everything except themselves. It's obvious Rebecca is unhappy there. Her husband even dictates what she should drink. Back at the bar, a girl named Donna, who's had a crush on Dylan, approaches him. It's clear he's not confident with women and struggles to speak to her. Donna asks for a beer, but since Dylan's on a tight budget, he offers his last one. She politely declines and walks away. Meanwhile, the guy from earlier at the pool table keeps watching Dylan, clearly angry about losing the game and getting confronted by Beau and his brother. In the next scene, Rebecca is seated in a group, casually chatting, when she suddenly collapses as if someone struck her from behind. At the same moment, Dylan is hit by the angry guy from earlier, using a pool stick, and he too falls to the ground. Beau and his brother drag the guy outside to teach him a lesson. Dylan wakes up to spilled beer, and although the bartender offers a free refill, he declines. Back at the party, guests gather around Rebecca, treating her like she's sick. Philip lifts her back into her seat, and she looks ashamed. Dylan leaves the bar and sees Beau and his brother beating the guy behind the building. When Dylan tells them to stop, Beau says he should be grateful for the help. Dylan leaves his truck behind and walks home to unwind. On the ride home, Philip tries to make sense of what happened to Rebecca, but it's clear he doesn't understand her. At one point, he even asks her to give him a warning next time something embarrassing happens. She tells him she doesn't know what happened, she simply felt the pain. Philip wonders if the strange episodes from the past are starting again. She assures him they aren't, but he accuses her of putting on a show. Later that night, while Philip sleeps, Rebecca lies awake. Dylan, after walking along the train tracks, returns home and falls asleep soundly. The next morning, Rebecca is already up and confused, while Dylan is jolted awake by a call from his boss he's overslept. As he heads out, he realizes he left his truck at the bar and has to run there to retrieve it before rushing to work. Meanwhile, Rebecca heads out to do some shopping. While driving, Dylan reaches to adjust the radio and sees strange visions on his hand. Simultaneously, Rebecca sees the same hand. Then they both snap out of it as a car horn blares. This is the first moment they both realize something powerful is happening. They can share visions and speak telepathically. Dylan notices he can feel the cold and realizes Rebecca is in New Hampshire during winter. They begin to experiment with their new ability. Soon, they discover that they can see, hear, and feel what the other experiences, but they cannot read each other's thoughts. When a cop approaches Rebecca to check up on her, she figures out how to disconnect from Dylan. Once the cop leaves, she resumes the conversation, explaining how awkward it is when people think she's crazy. They agree to talk again that night once they're home from their respective routines. Throughout the day, Dylan's in a great mood. You can tell from the way he smiles at work. Rebecca, on the other hand, is having dinner with Philip and almost slips up about her telepathic connection. She quickly recovers and claims she's tired. Later in the study, Rebecca reconnects with Dylan. Despite his awkwardness with women, he's totally at ease with her. During their chat, Dylan learns Rebecca is married to a doctor, and they begin to piece together the moments they've unknowingly shared, like the ski accident 20 years ago or the recent bar fight. They agree to talk later when Philip overhears Rebecca laughing to herself. She smoothly covers by pretending to be on the phone with a friend. As a stay-at-home wife, Rebecca continues chatting with Dylan, and their conversations turn heartfelt, sharing happy and sad memories from their lives. The next day, they're visibly more joyful. Rebecca asks Dylan about his criminal past, and he confesses to picking locks for his friends. She already sensed this and asked to confirm. Later, they start talking about old romantic experiences, like Rebecca's first boyfriend who bailed after a certain encounter. Inspired by her, Dylan starts cleaning his filthy home, both inside and outside. Eventually, Rebecca stands in front of a mirror so they can finally see each other's faces. Dylan, stunned, exclaims, "Beautiful," making Rebecca shy. When she sees him, she compliments his good looks too.
Over the next few days, Dylan continues improving his home, landscaping, cleaning, even planting flowers. He helps Rebecca avoid being scammed by a mechanic, and it becomes increasingly obvious to everyone that he's changed. His boss notices, so does Philip, who grows more suspicious about the shift in Rebecca's behavior. On his next visit, even Dylan's parole officer remarks on the change. When Dylan jokes that he met someone, the officer warns him about the criminal brothers, especially since Dylan admitted that the girl knows about his past. Soon after, the brothers visit Dylan with a plan for another robbery. They want him to pick the locks while they handle the theft. Dylan refuses, but now he knows the details and isn't part of it, something the brothers aren't thrilled about. Meanwhile, Rebecca visits Philip at the hospital to invite him for lunch. He declines due to his packed schedule. When she meets a psychiatrist friend of his, she becomes defensive, which raises questions. Later, Rebecca helps Dylan prepare for a date with Donna. She coaches him on how to be confident and offer the right compliments. He agrees to cook dinner for Donna. But the same night, Rebecca is forced to attend a fundraiser. At the party, the host is overly touchy with Rebecca, making her uncomfortable. She excuses herself to the restroom and checks in on Dylan, who's overwhelmed preparing dinner. Donna arrives, and they agree to resume their talk later. As Dylan chats with Donna, Rebecca is mentally tuned into every moment, even while awkwardly attending her own dinner event. When Dylan's pan catches fire, Rebecca blurts out advice, which makes her seem crazy in front of guests. Philip is clearly upset, but tries to remain composed. Later, Rebecca accuses Dylan of being jealous of Donna, and during their argument, Donna catches Dylan slapping himself and talking to thin air. Donna storms out, disturbed. After the party, Philip is furious with Rebecca for causing a scene. The couple goes through a tense moment before she gets up later to reconnect with Dylan. They forgive each other and seem closer than ever. They even share sweet moments like dancing to a song playing on Dylan's radio. However, when Philip enters the room, they disconnect. Rebecca suspects Philip threw away her old photos. After a conversation, they let the topic go. In the next scene, Rebecca is drunk, sitting on tables and ranting. When they reconnect, Dylan learns more about Philip's controlling behavior. Rebecca defends him, saying it's for her protection, but Dylan disagrees. As the night gets emotional, their connection grows even more intimate. Rebecca is forced to attend an art class. Meanwhile, Dylan gets fired from his job for talking to his imaginary friend, which disturbs customers. Down and out, he visits the bar, where Donna casually talks to him. The brothers arrive again with robbery details, and Dylan refuses. When he tries to explain why, mentioning Rebecca, they mock him. A fight breaks out, and the brothers leave after threatening him. Meanwhile, Rebecca's friend expresses concern and tells Philip she might be mentally unstable again. Rebecca confesses she was once admitted to a psychiatric hospital after an episode. Realizing their connection is now creating problems, Dylan and Rebecca agree to shut it off, especially since Dylan's feelings for her have grown. Later, Dylan is approached by his parole officer about associating with Beau and his brother. Suddenly, Dylan experiences a vision of Rebecca being dragged, screaming for help. He rushes off, determined to rescue her. He sells his truck, uses the money to get to her, and is attacked by the brothers, but he fights them off and steals their car. He reconnects with Rebecca and learns that Philip had her committed to a hospital. Evading police, Dylan boards a plane, speaking with Rebecca along the way. After another vehicle theft, he arrives near the hospital and guides Rebecca in picking her door lock. Just as Dylan is confronted by cops, Rebecca escapes her room, punches Philip, and flees into the woods. Dylan, chased by police, hears a train and manages to board it just as Rebecca does too. This is the moment they've both waited for, all their lives. As they kiss and embrace, the message becomes clear. We should always chase what truly makes us happy. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to leave a like, turn on the notification bell, and drop your comments below. Until next time.